United Nations needs a positive mandate in addition to its current mandates of eliminating war and peacekeeping and hunger and many of the other troubles that face mankind. Our mandate is this, that all of mankind can express themselves to the limit of their mental and physical abilities. That's our positive mandate. Our version of this positive mandate is simply that it be the fullest expression of mankind's physical and mental abilities. The reason we want this type of mandate is because it not only makes rational sense by allowing all forms of ideas and solutions to problems to be used and advancing our culture, but also because it makes us happy. And our own 13-year experiment called the Fortress Experiment, which by the way is now a series of television programming, proves this without question, as all participants were happy when given the chance to freely express themselves, while at the same time involving no negative changes to themselves, their families, their communities, and nations. A positive mandate cannot just be a rational exercise in bringing the mandate into being. It must also be a visceral affirmation. In short, it should feel right to everyone involved, and this does. So I think we just made history there. It's not the way I thought it would be, but I have never seen anyone come to the UN requesting that the general public be able to participate in an ongoing, permanent way in all UN activities with a turnkey solution that provides that participation and with charter support of the United Nations. I've never seen it happen. Technology has made this available, and it is my hope that years from now, everybody in the world will be able to participate in a permanent, ongoing fashion at the United Nations if they wish. And I think that's going to be the greatest thing for humanity and humanity's self-determination. Yes, that was me at the United Nations telling everyone we had just made history. We got to that point through an experiment we call the Fortress Experiment. Now, the Fortress Experiment took 13 years and followed a typical community of people to discover what is important in all our lives and ultimately how we should all live our lives. And as you just saw, the results are currently being advocated on the world stage to be the marching orders for everyone on Earth. But I'm not going to tell you the whole story right now. You can see it for yourself in the episodes that follow. What I am going to tell you is that the experiment started in earnest in a park in the city of Toronto on September 18, 2004, when we decided to make a TV show all on our own without any prior experience or professional help, and air it on one of Canada's top TV networks as our war cry to the world at large that the experiment had begun. And so without further delay, this is the Fortress Experiment.
And you know, it just, I don't know, it's a very, very real documentary style thing, or documentary piece, I guess you'd call it. It is, it's very, very real, you know, and that's what the people out there need to recognize as they're watching this, and as they're watching our interviews and watching what this label is all about and what our organization is about, is that this is the real shit. There is nothing realer than Fortress of Freedom. There isn't. And I'll put a bet on it. Like, there isn't. Even you say yourself, Maurice, there's all these reality shows that are polished for Hollywood. We're not Hollywood, man. We're doing it, you know? This is real. And that's the biggest thing, is that's what keeping it real is all about. You know, we had the opportunity to do it. We did it. That's it, man. You know?
Okay, it's September the 17th, approximately 2 o'clock in the morning. Just waiting to see what unfolds tomorrow. The weather looks like it's going to be nice. That was our biggest concern. It's all we can do. My little experiment, my little test. Testing out my theories. We will find out.
The camera, the lens.
I freaking love this camera.
Oh, you'll love it until the new high definition cameras come out. Then you'll love those. Like this D70 camera, state of the art, half a year ago, already eclipsed. That's the way it always is.
Right?
Okay, so
I'd
keep
say
it that way.
Scrap the name, and advocacy was pronounced incorrectly.
And I think I screwed up on at the beginning of Fortress of Freedom. I didn't say it as good.
Yeah.
In the future, what plans do you have to develop this organization?
Well, our most immediate plans is to get media accreditation at the UN.
I'd also like to get NGO status with the UN. That would allow us to work in workshops and lobby on an international level. And my ultimate goal is to actually speak personally to the countries that are participating in the United Nations. That would be my ultimate goal.
It's a good goal.
Well, that's my personal goal. The ultimate goal of our organization is to expand throughout the world and to enhance and secure freedom of speech through freedom of the press and individual freedoms of speech and thought.
I've been a musician since I was a kid. Choirs, grades 1, 2, and 3. My mother picked music over hockey because it was cheaper, and sort of I got into music by accident. And just had a natural aptitude to a degree for punk rock anyway. And it was a lot of fun. It became my passion. And music being the medium that it is, naturally lends itself to other forms. One of my aspirations at one point was to actually, I would be happy to put on the epitaph soundtrack for movie X. So the two sort of objectives were married and became invisible. I just got into both. I love music, I love imagery, and I love the combination of both.
Nicotine, it's a text man's dream. Nicotine gonna make your body scream. Nicotine, why don't you take a little more of the heroin you'll find at your local corner store? Thank you for listening.
But that's where I'm coming from, Mark. The only reason I'm not doing this for money, it's just, I know that's going to drive some of you crazy. I'm just
Well, I
doing it
understand,
for...
but I guess my point is, okay, we're reaching for the UN, reaching for credibility, but
Oh, we've got the credibility. We're reaching for the UN.
okay. And after that, what's that?
Well, ultimately, I want to give a speech on the floor of the General Assembly. That's what I want to do. And I want to leave this earth, because I'm not getting any younger, knowing that I left some kind of legacy for the other people so that they can actually think without being brainwashed through the mass media, or say speak their mind without worrying whether they're going to go to jail or whether they're going to be ostracized, right? I mean, I'm not the only one.
You too can have this through Fortress of Freedom. We can promote your interest or cause, and because we're international, we can give a wider audience to what you have to say. Fortress of Freedom is your free speech and freedom of thought advocacy group. This is Dan Strudwick for Fortress of Freedom. Thanks for watching.
The Fortress experiment was a real experiment. We wanted to see what would happen if we let a typical group of people in any community be all they could be and see what happened. The experiment tested access to the mass media as well as the participants' experiences when they got their chance. Were they happy or sad for the experience? Did the participation have any positive or negative impact on their marriages, family, or community? And would a broad policy like this have a positive or negative impact on the society, cultures, and nations that embrace this extreme form of free expression? Our experiment had controls, such as everybody in the experiment could be physically linked to me as the originator. So, for example, I met Dan through work and he introduced me to Delilah, a friend of his who was a club-style fashion designer who later starred in music videos showcasing her fashions. Another Dan I knew through a printer introduced me to Mark, and then Michael, who appeared later in this show. I knew Emily, and she introduced me to Shane, and so on. In the end, we had a small community of people representative of any community you'd find anywhere in the world, because we held no auditions but only worked with those we personally knew. Another control is that anyone that was interested in the experiment got what they wanted. We never said no. If they were a musician and wanted a high-class studio for music production, they got it. Some, like Dave, made it a point not to take advantage of this control, but others did. This had the propensity for disaster and financial disaster for myself, as we had no backers. But these controls were needed to keep the integrity of the experiment and also makes this experiment rather unique. Starting the Fortress experiment meant accessing or trying to access all parts of the mass media. Our first and easiest was starting our websites, like our main one at fortressoffreedom.com. Next was starting our publishing company, and our first book was called Protest: The Fall of Civil Disobedience, which had our philosophy and war cry at the end of this book, which archived local protests I'd covered in the Toronto area.
We also accessed radio in our early days with our first radio ad airing on CKLN in Toronto.
Into our show and to discuss anything, you can always do so live on air with us. So we're going to get to Andy right after this ad, and we'll be back right after this.
Log on to FortressOfFreedom.com. Tell the world the news that you feel is important on FortressOfFreedom.com's uncensored and hassle-free website. Speak your mind at FortressOfFreedom.com.
We also started an archiving service and association for our soon-to-be newspaper journalists, and issued our first press ID card with URL verification on the back. Quite innovative in those days. This is the actual tape that we sent to Global TV for pre-approval of the Fortress TV show. As you can see, it's in glorious Beta SB, also closed captioned. They even have a library number on this. Getting our show on one of the largest networks in Canada turned out to be much harder than we ever thought. We were lucky in one respect, that we shot the show on a rather expensive camcorder that gave us broadcast-grade video and audio. High definition really didn't exist in 2004, and our camcorder of choice back then was a documentary camcorder called the PD-170. So the video was quite good, but other problems had to be addressed to meet broadcast grade. Our first submission to Global TV was a complete disaster and was rejected with extensive complaints on their summary sheet. Particularly look at the whole show, and the quality control guy makes comments about it. And as you can see, this stuff is just basically, what the show is when it aired, or when it was recorded, and all the rest of it. These are technical evaluations. As you can see, it's Beta SP, so this is the one for that tape I just showed you. He had a lot of problems with it, which you can see here. It says use the other side of the page if necessary. Basically, he starts off with the video was good. He didn't have real problems with the video. The audio was another matter. It fluctuated a lot. As you can see on the other side of the page, audio drops to minus, blah, blah, blah. He just keeps talking about the audio. There was one point where I was interviewing Michael Atkinson, and he said it was overexposed. We still see detail there, so it's not completely finished for that bit of video. But all was about the audio, and the biggest mistake we made at the end was that the audio fades out completely while there's still credits going. So amateurish mistakes. Audio is one of the hardest to correct, and it's the most overlooked by amateurs. So they sent it back. It wasn't approved. We had to go back to work and fix everything that was wrong with it. Okay, that was back in the day. But we were lucky in one respect. Framing and composition and other amateurish mistakes were overlooked, as the show was about amateurs making a TV show, so those could stay. But the format and other technical requirements had to be met, and one by one we solved those to the point where it looked like we had a pretty good chance to get the show on the air as paid programming. Yeah, that's the actual tape. As you can see, it's got a barcode. It's all set to go. And this one we reproduced in digital Betacam, which is about the best you can get in 2005 for broadcast. It also came with the technical evaluation. We'll open it up. This is the actual technical evaluation tape. As you can see, you don't have much to say. That's it. It passed. So we're good to go. Okay, we're here at Global TV Studios here in Toronto. Just figured I'd come here and have a little chit chat with you before we meet with Global again, and see what our ultimate fate's going to be regarding our Fortress TV show that they agreed in principle and in a verbal agreement to put on sometime in September. That's about it. I just figured I'd just put this little bit of history on tape and see what happens next week.
The following program is presented as a paid advertisement. The opinions, statements, representations, and/or warranties contained in the said program, explicit or implied, are those of the participant and/or sponsor.
What you're about to watch is an experiment in free speech. The people in the show are not actors, just regular people doing regular jobs. The organization is called Fortress of Freedom. I'm Dan Strudwick, one of its members. Fortress of Freedom is an organization that promotes free speech by allowing ordinary people access to the mass media. By accessing the mass media, all members of society can participate in expressing themselves to the community. There are many ways to do this through writing, song, speech, and visual arts. At Fortress of Freedom, we participate in helping all forms of expression access to the mass media. In the show you're about to see, we put theory into practice and made our own TV show in September 2004. We want to show by example that anyone can access the mass media and express themselves to the world. Our show was a learning experience. It's not the best show ever made, but it's ours and we did it on our own. And because of that, we think it's special. And it makes the point that anyone can enter the mass media. Enjoy the show. You've met some of the people already involved with Fortress of Freedom, and as you've seen, they're a diverse group who have something to say and want the freedom to say it, be it through their music, poetry, or through reporting or commenting on news stories. You too can have this through Fortress of Freedom. We can promote your interest or cause, and because we're international, we can give a wider audience to what you have to say. Fortress of Freedom is your free speech and freedom of thought advocacy group. This is Dan Strudwick for Fortress of Freedom. Thanks for watching.
Well, what can I say? It's, I guess it's the morning after this show aired. Looks like we did this one.
It didn't turn out well. Okay, let's see the back cover. And, okay, here we go. Let me zoom in. I want to zoom in. There we go. It's all set up for sale with the UPC code and all the rest of it. Yeah.
Looks official.
So congratulations, Dave.
I'm officially archived. Wow.
Yep.
A Fortress experiment involved over 30 participants. Obviously, we can't show all the participants in this documentary, but we will show you the important ones, the ones that helped start the experiment. Of all the categories we had, most participants fell into the music side of expression, so much so that we decided to start our own record label. Back in 2005, the music industry was still viable, and the plan was to start the label and sign up all the participants interested and end the experiment with a big outdoor concert that would involve not only the musicians, but all the authors, artists, and journalists from a journalist association called the International Association of Independent Journalists. Then, after the experiment ended, we would get the word out about the experiment through a documentary made by our authors and journalists and advocacy through the Journalist Association. That was the plan. But before any of that could happen, I had to learn how to make music. To do this, I started with a participant I knew directly, the host of the Fortress TV show, Dan Strudwick. This veteran musician would show me step by step how to make music, and then we would sign up the others and get the record label out there. What is Avery Knapp?
What is Avery Knapp? Well, it's a band that my best friend and I started, Pi Zambowski and I. We started decades ago. We wanted to take on the world, not just some little bar. We've already done all that stuff. We've played in front of thousands of people. We've recorded thousands of hours of music. We always believed that it would be big. We wanted to be the Beatles. We wanted to be Alice Cooper, Aerosmith, Kiss, all of them. Zeppelin. That's what we wanted to be. That was always what we wanted to be, and it still do. It's not over yet.
So, what is Avery Knapp?
Avery Knapp is in the past.
The Fortress experiment gives people a chance to be all they can be, and Dan Strudwick got his chance by meeting our experiment controls, as I knew him personally, and in fact he was the host of the original Fortress TV show. Dan was a musician in a band called Avery Knapp that looked like it was getting some real success until bad luck happened and the band disbanded. So this would be Dan's second chance to make music, and let's see what happens.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Avery Knapp.
What does it take to make a professional record album? Well, we're about to find out. But in general, a high-quality record album will encompass the following 7 steps. Step 1 is a drum track, which basically sets the bass line for the recording. Step 2 is a bass guitar that basically bridges the gap between the drum tracks and the guitars. Step 3 are the guitar solos. Step 4 are the vocals. Step 5 is the percussion. Step 6 is a mixdown, where we take all the previously recorded tracks and make them into a song. And finally, step 7 is the mastering and production of the audio CD. All recording was done at the world-famous Metalworks recording studios here in Toronto.
Yeah, the drums, what everybody calls the bed tracks, right? You got to start with the heartbeat of the song. It's always the drums, and then you layer everything over top of that. But that is the heartbeat of the song. Always have a good drummer, or you're never going to be able to do anything.
Oh, it's open. The Metalworks booth. Don't mind me.
Right. Maybe start with it, like
just to kind of get a reference
yeah,
point to start.
Go through it a little bit, you can set the track or whatever, and then start it.
The kid relaxing. Well, while I have you here, kid, let me just ask you a couple of quick questions. Married, kids, what's happened to you since Avery Knapp?
Nothing.
What are you doing for a living?
No, I just work at a kids camp, and you know.
All right, well, you're going to be beating the drums in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
Kid's almost, he's still working on his drum check, so I'm just waiting, out of the way, you know.
And we see you again back here in the second week of January.
Yeah, when I'll be starting to lay down stuff then myself.
And again, just like the drums, the bass has to be the heartbeat of the song. So you must react as the bass player to the heartbeat of the song.
See, it says off right here. Listen. Right here.
Yeah.
Go right here. Watch. That's fine. It's there. What am I doing wrong? I had this. It's gonna be something stupid too. It's gonna be like. It's gonna be easier than what I'm doing. That's what it's gonna be.
So how'd it go today?
It was great. Right on schedule. Plan to finish off the bass lines today, which happened, and we got to do the fills for the rest of the guitar work too. So now we just move on to vocals and the lead guitar solos and stuff like that for the next couple of sessions. So we did exactly what we set out to do. So then that's always good.
The guitar is the last of the bed tracks. Whether you use guitar or piano, it doesn't matter. That's the last of it, and the bed tracks are done.
I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah, the vocals. The reason that they're done at this time is if you're a vocalist, how are you supposed to sing to anything? You need to be inspired, right? So when you hear the band and the song coming together, you kind of grow with it. And then you add to it over top. It's all about, at this point in the recording process, it's all about spices. You know, the foundation's already been laid down. So the vocals and the lead guitar and whatever else you want to put over top is just icing on the cake after that.
Wasn't looking for somebody to take me to a place I didn't wanna go. Wasn't looking for somebody to feed me things I wasn't hungry for. But you came on me like a hurricane. I didn't see the storm in your eye. You showed me things I didn't wanna see. You made me stay when I should leave. Well, you know what I want, know what I need. It's not so easy to find me. Well, I got to find one that's gonna fill my need. It's not so easy to find it. Well, I know what I want, know what I need. It's not so easy to find it. Said I got to find one that's gonna fill my need. Not so easy to find it. Broken, lonely hearts in a city. 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 In a city. In a city. It's all right.
Yeah, the percussion with the kid. Again, like I talked of earlier, everything once the bed tracks are done is accents on top, flavor, and just adding a different flavor, a different rhythm to the song and the background that has its own unique thing. It adds to the song.
Yeah, the studio toys. Where's the cowbell?
There's one in there somewhere.
Kristenoid playing with his toys.
Oh yeah, it's a double chorus at the end, that's right. Alright. Sure.
So folks, at the end of all this process, then you go to the mixdown. You know, that's about taking all of these tracks that you've done and making them a cohesive song and making them sound good together, because they're all separate entities, and bringing them all together and mixing them together is what it's all about.
So Dan, ends the formal recording sessions of Days in My Life.
You got it.
What happens now?
We go to the mixdown Saturday, Sunday.
And what exactly is that for the fans out there that aren't hip to this?
We're gonna make it. We're gonna try and wrap up this present with a nice big bow on it, so you guys like it. Make it all sound good. Make all the levels nice, so it sounds really nice for you kiddies out there in rock and roll land.
I went back to you.
But there's still notes that drop out, and the only way to bring those notes up is to bring the volume up, and then you'd have the other stuff too loud. That's it. It's the actual tone that he's using. So
Yeah,
like
but
stuff
He's
drops
got the
out.
wah going in there.
I think it's a wah that he's using. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
still must be able to turn a few knobs though, right?
Well, it's always more knobs.
You know what I mean? Just that's something. I don't know what it is, like treble or
something,
mid or something. You know what I mean? Just to.
Well, it's
I can mess around
definitely
with it,
it's definitely trebly.
It's very like this. You know what I mean? Instead of like. Cool. Good.
I actually liked it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got the disc, right?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna call you tomorrow.
Yeah, and let me know.
Yeah, let us know. Let you know, and it shouldn't be a problem, but you know.
Yep.
I'd rather double check. You know what I mean?
You got it, man.
And if there's a problem, well, you'll know about it.
You got it.
Okay, see ya.
Yeah, so phone me, right away.
I will.
Come on.
Okay, see you guys.
Okay, Dan, you're done.
Let's rock and roll. I'm ready.
The next step of the recording process is the mastering.
His reaction when he got here was this one.
Hello.
Hi, Ron. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, how's it going?
What's he doing, man?
There's Andy. We're here at Silverberg Productions here in Toronto. What can't we do with this material?
Well, the first thing to understand is mastering engineer is a very kind of unknown and esoteric job, and basically our responsibilities are to take the studio mixes or whatever combination of tracks people have done that they've turned into stereo. Our job is to try and make a sequence or an album out of it. So we want to want you to be able to sit in your chair and listen to track 1 through track 9 and not have to get out of your chair to adjust your stereo for any reason whatsoever, whether it be volume or too much bass or too much brightness. In other words, if you don't want to get to track 6 and be uncomfortable because the bottom end is way too heavy for that song. So my job is basically to take the mixes that were done and try and balance them out and get them to the commercial volume level of the average CD today.
The next stage is the actual production of the CD.
We're here with Bruce Longman. He's going to take us step by step through what he does to get our files ready for manufacturing. And so Bruce, just take us step by step with what you would do with an artist who sends you his ideas for his covers, and how you prepare them, and what you do to get this actually ready for manufacture with a printer.
Well, it depends on how the files come in. You know, if somebody sends me a Photoshop file, I'll go through the original Photoshop file, layered file, and make sure that the fonts are all okay, you know, that the dimensions are fine. I'll then save it in a specific way so that I can import it into my templates in QuarkXPress, which is the layout software that I use. I've dropped the files into my templates that I use for the layout. So I'm sort of at the final stages. I'm adding, you know, UPC code.
Can you add that right now?
To the back of the, yeah, just pop it in. Wherever I saved it. I saved it somewhere. Probably in the Avery Knapp folder. There it is. So I just import your barcode in.
There you go.
And position it wherever we want it. Yeah, let's see where we want to put it.
There you go. Barcode it. On our tray card. Okay, what we have here are the finished files for Avery Knapp. Right, these two right here. All right. I'm actually going to have you pick one out.
There we go. I'm going to put one into the cookie jar.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, looking at that Avery. Yeah, let me zoom in on that. Yeah, Avery Knapp Days of My Life.
There it is. First production copy.
The last stage is marketing and promoting.
We're here with Dan Strodick. He's going to check out what the CDs and the record stores are doing.
Going to the record store.
Yeah, we're going to go to the record store. Sam, the record man. Yeah, you're there. They are. Hang on, Sotos. 998. Yeah, right. There you are, Dan. Okay.
Yeah, look it out.
Let's take a look at it.
What, you want right here?
Right here. Yeah, right here. We're on public. Come on, go. Try Papa.
Right on Young Street. Freshly bought from Sam the Record Man, yeah.
And that's it. Our CD is manufactured and in the stores. What are you going to do with that? Where do you want to go? I mean, you're a free man now. What's up with you?
A free man is a good place to be. Everybody wants that. But absolutely, if people like what we're doing, we will continue doing it. I'm going to do it anyways, whether people like it or not. I hope that I write things and perform for people where they do like it and they do hop on board, and I entertain them and bring them through different moods, and hey, I'd like to write a song that people get married to and dance and have a good time to, and that's what music's about to me.
What is Avery Knapp?
Avery Knapp, a rock band that just wanted to entertain the hard-working men and women out there. Come and see our shows, and we felt good, they felt good. That's all it was about.
All right, here's the issue of the Fortress paper and the Bell telephone book. So on, put them there, and everybody grab them.
I have a couple of copies here. This one here is our first issue. It's one of the moving moments of my life when I was first given
our first issue when I was at the printers. The learning experience, some of the photos aren't the greatest because we had to take them at night, but it came through pretty well. And this was distributed back in April to universities throughout the lower Ontario area. Okay, this is the one that I was distributing today. Similar in design, same 12 pages, slightly better paper though, almost like cardboard, so it's bulky even though it's only 12 pages. Change of plans, I stayed within Toronto and went back to the same places that I had been before, just to see whether or not the papers were being picked up or being thrown away or what was happening. And it was at that time that I actually started to see evidence of people reading the papers. I actually saw one guy, for example, actually reading the paper, not just thumbing through it. And then I did find evidence of people having read the paper and left the paper open on benches and stuff like that. And it was at that moment that it occurred to me that we actually were producing a newspaper and it was being read. So that really shored up your spirits. And you know, when you see that, it's just thrilling. And then when you think back later, it's you get a lump in your throat having come up with the concept and tried to make it happen, finding the people and making it happen and putting a product out on the street with all the other newspapers. I mean, we have our own newspaper.
So I have this disease called polycystic kidney disease. And what that is your kidneys are approximately the size of your fist. And they're fairly smooth. With polycystic kidney disease, what you have is enlarged kidneys, and they're covered in volatile cysts. And then those cysts can spread to other organs in the cavity.
We can't forget Krista.
No way.
Because she gave you the kidney.
She gave me everything.
Yeah, but listen, I still don't know myself. When did you guys marry?
We got married in November 2001.
And she gave you the kidney
in April 26th of 2002. Last August, I fell apart. My kidney function dropped to a single digit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently on dialysis right now. I go 3 times a week for approximately 4.5 hours, depending on how long the setup is. You kind of feel like hell for a while after that. And then, you know, later if you eat something, maybe later in the day, you'll feel semi-normal, right? And again, it's another one of those things I just kept it quiet and didn't make a big deal out of it, right? 'Cause I'm not looking for
the sympathy card.
Yeah, that's not what I'm about, right? So, like, that's what I would never want any of this positioned as, oh, woe is me, let me start a Patreon and give me money because my life is challenging. No, I just want to make rock music and have a good time with what time I have.
The Fortress Experiment gives people a chance to be all they can be, and Michael Atkinson got his chance by meeting our experiment controls. As I knew Dan Gamble, who is the printer we used for the Fortress newspaper, and he knew Mark Moore, who in turn knew Michael. Michael was our cameraman on the original Fortress TV show. Michael had a band back in the day, but health problems on top of the usual life problems found him out of the music business, which was the love of his life. The Fortress Experiment gave it back to him, and here is his story.
What does 2600 stand for?
It's a return to simpler things, simple sentiments, simpler music, you know, 4 chords, a little bit of angst, a little bit of passion. Nothing, it's no middle of the road, it's all either hot or cold. So, like, yeah, simple.
Of course, the problem with Michael signing him just like that was that he didn't have a band at that time. He'd have to make one up. But he decided to go with all new people on this one. He picked up bass guitarist, a guy called Jim Burden. One of his friends, a fellow guitarist called Wendell Shank. And the drummer, he was an old friend of his called Randy Knowles. There you go, Michael Atkinson, Metalworks.
Happy to be doing music again.
Yeah.
That's what I want to say about myself.
That's it?
That's it. Good outlet, good release. Glad to be doing it. Lots of fun.
The radio would be good.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see where it goes from there.
So, band continued the normal traditional way of making music with the drum track and the bass track and guitars and then the vocals. Yeah, pretty uneventful, pretty straightforward, methodical work from these artists. The music actually got recorded and finished, and in the end, we actually had a EP that actually sounded damn good. And I remember manufacturing the CD and having Michael come up with the cover design. I think that took about a week, and you know, bringing it over to his house at night and giving it to him.
The
it
actual-
actually bleeds into the side?
Yeah, the whole monkey image folds.
See, the whole monkey image flows, folks.
So I'm pretty happy. I mean, everybody rode with the monkey theme and nobody gave me any real static. In fact, you ran with it to shoot the video and put some monkeys on it.
Yeah, I put monkeys in the video. The monkeys rule, right?
So I mean, yeah, great. I'm glad I stuck to my guns and we got something we can live with. And I love. We can live with, but I love it.
After that is the obvious promotion, and for this band, playing a few gigs.
How's it going, everybody? Check, check, check. Thanks for coming out. I know the weather sucks. I know it costs $10. And damn it if we don't appreciate you coming all the way down here to see us play tonight. We're 2,600.
No, I'd say that made me want to play a second one, so I'm all right.
All right, good to go.
Good.
Great show.
It was awesome. And that guitar kick at the end?
What time do you guys have to prepare a special date or something?
2 days, baby.
2 days.
From the other band.
Michael.
I'm just looking for a slow drum stand at the moment.
It was fun. It was fun.
It's done.
Had a good time. It was fun. One. We're dead. It's all dead. It's the 50s again. They signed bands for one song. They put together, it's not going to be long before it's like a 12-band venue with everyone doing 3 songs with a back line. I mean, and the artists are only worth as much as the ticket that gets people in the door. Music's dead. People are buying 99-cent songs on the internet, and if we can't keep up, it's going to be all about live.
And I mean, we're working stiffs. So unless there's some sort of tangible interest or some more money or something, I don't know, we'll probably never grow past this. I'm happy with the Saturday night at a club sort of vibe, but I want to see a video on Much Music. I want to see a song in a movie, and I want to, like, I mean, a Hollywood movie. The new stuff we're doing blows, and I love that 6-song stuff we did, but the new stuff we're doing, like, it's obvious that it blows the other stuff clean out of the water. And people are judging us based on the power of that first recording, so they're getting misrepresented. We didn't have an image, we didn't have any kind of style, we were just 4 fucking guys in a studio trying to just put something together. Now we've got all those things. If we had not recorded until now, that CD would have been a shit sight better. But, you know, we did what we did, and we can live with what we did, but I want to do more. I see us in a year either dead and buried or promoting another CD, and hopefully not dead and buried.
What's your overall experience of the whole thing?
It has been fun, illuminating. Yeah, it's been a good time.
So you guys are signed. For some of you, it's the first contract. How does it feel, Jim?
Feels good to be back. We're back with a vengeance.
All right. Yeah, Michael. What's up?
Nothing.
How do you feel?
I'm good.
Ready for new music?
Sure.
It's been 2006, 7 years. Holy mackerel. That's and I remember your interview at the Elmo about nothing's happened. It hasn't improved. In fact, music's kind of like gotten
worse.
Yeah.
Like you said. That's why we need
Randy.
to be here.
Yeah, Randy, drummer for 2600. How do you feel? Ready to? I don't know. Ready to what? Ready to
Kick the
pound
shit out of some drums.
Keep doing what I've been doing.
Ready to hit that gong? Did you guys even use that gong?
Fuck yes.
Yeah, okay.
Times, I think.
Yeah, all right. And the
Sort of
newest
DJ
member,
Garage.
let me make sure I get his. No, I'll have him say it. So introduce yourself. Mikhail,
Yeah.
and what position do you play with the band? And
Mihai, yeah. Guitar.
Yeah, and
and
what's your
backing vocals.
what's your history?
And fluffer.
And producer. They said, yeah.
All right, he's the newest member of the band.
This is our informal CD release party, and we are 2600. This is also our last try.
It's 2014. Michael Atkinson is here with one of the first CDs made from the batch I have here, actually. It's one of the first CDs made, Electric for All.
We never got a chance to ask him when we originally released the CD, but he's here with it now. I just want to know, what do you think of the new CD? What do you think of 2600 in the year 2014 as opposed to 2006? And how has this all changed for you?
2006 was an experiment. 2014 we're a rock band. What we do, like a full-on rock band playing real instruments, drums, 2 guitars, bass, 3 vocals, is a dying art form. And I think we're going to see more and more people with MacBook Pros and an acoustic guitar playing along to their record. You know, not 12 years ago that was a cardinal sin to get caught lip syncing to your record. Now it's the standard. What we do, and it's emblazoned on our business cards quite large. We're a rock band. We play our instruments ourselves. We make our music ourselves. Nobody writes anything for us, and we give it everything we've got.
What about the album? What do you think of it?
What do I think of it?
Yeah.
It was an adventure. It was an experience. We tried a lot of new things to get to where it was.
Mm-hmm.
Self-producing our album for the first time from start to finish was more of an experience. So it was more on the technical side. It was an interesting journey.
I know we've done this before, but it's a different environment. Your last CD that you produced, and hold it up a bit higher, maybe around 2600 Electric for All.
Yeah, it has actually the physical CD.
Yeah, the physical CD. We're old-fashioned here at FOF. What are your thoughts on it? Did it come out the way you thought it was?
This was a great experience, because I came in, later in the band. They were already, an established band.
Yeah, I know that.
So I was trying to shape, some of, the songs, and we ended up having kind of like a mixtape, because there are a lot of genres here.
So what, Electric for All is your first album?
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. If that's the way you started off, seriously, that's the way you're starting off, you got something there. But okay, anyways, look, it's Jim Burton. There's a new CD. This is actually take 2.
Take 2, buy this.
We were talking about a lot of things, but basically the new album's out. Jim was producer of the first album, no questions about it. And Mihai, who's here somewhere, there's Mihai. Mihai is producer of the second album. As I was telling Jim, bands change, they constantly change and morph.
Yep.
Where do you see?
I want it. $10.
With everybody here, where do you see 2600 going?
Up.
So very much. Even more coming in. Okay, you got a great night set up in front of you. I've been drinking, so I might be a little drunk at the moment, but we'll see how this goes. After us, we get a band called Drunk Lips. Do not leave. You must see these guys play. You must. If you leave, I'm going to chase after you down the street and personally attempt to kick your asses. I will fail, but I will personally attempt to kick your asses. So stick around for Drunk Lips and 40 Sons. Yeah. But we are 2600, and this first song is called Electric for All.
And so, that is where the band stands at this moment in time. They got their second chance to make music, and the music is definitely better. But the musical landscape has only got worse, and they are still trying. This is not only their story, but everyone's story in the music today. You're at the Tennessee. You're going to perform in a couple of minutes. We're going to have a quick interview with you.
Okay.
All right. 2004, it's 11 years later. We're trying to end what started off as a half-hour TV show. Now it's like a 1-hour documentary. And it's just going on. You're still performing. It's tougher than ever. You guys are trying, but you're trying in a harder and harder industry to make any headway at all. I mean, what are you going to do?
Keep making music.
That's it? Keep making music?
Got no choice. It's what drives me. It's the only thing I
truly feel myself doing, and even if it's for 5 or 50 people, I have to go on. I have absolutely no choice.
This is the bane of my life. I'm just going to take a break here. Yeah, he cuts it off when he sees me. Okay.
We were relearning how to do everything in a new world that we'd never been a part of. The online world, the self-production world, the big white elephants were dying, now they're dead. And I don't expect it to get any better anytime soon, but we can't stop. We're not stopping. We've started pre-production on another record. So
I know, but let me put it to you this way. We have to end this 1-hour documentary.
Of
You're going
course.
to keep going. What do you want to say to anybody watching this after 11 years of
failure?
Well, no. After 11 years of your life, what do you want to tell these people at the end of your documentary? What do you want to tell them?
Sure. If you're going to do it in this day and age, 2015, 2016, whenever this documentary comes out, do it for love. If you're not doing it for love, you're doing it wrong. Because you know what? It's the love of it that'll sustain you, because nothing else will. If you don't love it, get out. If you're just doing it for the motions of it, then you failed before you started. And just do it out of absolute love.
You're, how old are you right now? 83? Is it 83?
Still 83.
Yeah, still 83, and most people, I think, would have called it quits by now. What is this fire in you that wants to keep performing at an age where most people would think you wouldn't be able to perform?
Well, I still got the lungs to play the harmonica, and I still have fingers to play the piano and organ, and I even try my little bit of singing. But it's to keep me happy, and that's in my soul, my blood, to keep at it regardless.
The Fortress Experiment gives people a chance to be all they can be, and Don Brashear got his chance by meeting our experiment controls, as I knew Dave Getchell personally, and Dave knew Don through his work. Don was a soldier who actually fought in the D-Day campaign of World War II and followed that up with a long career as a harmonica musician. Well into his 80s, Don wanted to get back into music and performing, as he said that's what keeps him alive. The Fortress Experiment says no to no one, and so here's Don's story. Having aired our first TV show and having the journalist org up and running, we decided to produce our first serious documentary. The subject matter would be one of our own musicians, a man called Donald Boots Brashear. Mr. Brashear had actually fought during the D-Day campaign during World War II, and after the war started a career as a world-class musician. So we figured we could produce the documentary in 2 parts, the first part being Don's war experience, and the second about his life as one of the best harmonica musicians in the world. I approached Don and he was all thumbs up for the documentary, so I decided to take a week and videotape Don about his war experience and musical feats that spanned the end of vaudeville to the present day. Okay, it's July 26th. It's about 9 o'clock. We're getting ready to pick up Shane and go to my parents' place to take a look at the TV show. We actually didn't get the contract till Friday, so they left that till last minute. Everybody overlooked it. But at any rate, according to what I read, we're good to go, and it's not preemptible, so this thing looks like it's actually going to go down. The only thing we can do now is rush home, set up everything, and see what this thing looks like.
The following is paid program. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of this station.
There you go.
There we go.
How can we define one's life? Possibly by one's greatest achievements and challenges. So this is what we are going to look for in an extraordinary individual, Donald Brashear.
I had to replace the audio. That's why you don't hear
Known as
any echoes.
Boots, during his days as a soldier in World War II, Mr. Brashear lived and fought in the D-Day campaign and followed it up with an extraordinary career as a world-class musician.
How you feeling, Morris?
He probably would not know any of this if you just passed him on the street, but he is just one of the shining examples of Canadians excelling and achieving on the world stage.
Yeah, I was with the Queen's Own Camelon Highlanders. And we were the 2nd Division, 6th Brigade. We landed St. Andrews Orchard, and from then on, we were in action.
All right, okay. Let us take a look at that. Okay, Don, do me a favor. Just go and read it off.
Statement of service in the Canadian Armed Forces. Service and rank and number. Donald Joseph Bressler, B157711. Branch of service, Canadian Army active. Date of birth, 17th of April, 1925, Midland, Ontario. Place of enlistment, 10th of January, 1944, Toronto, Ontario. Theaters of service, Canada, Britain, and Northwest Europe. Date and place of retirement or discharge, the 14th of November, 1945, Toronto, Ontario. Type of discharge, honorable. Rank, discharge, private.
And what kind of medals did they give you there?
Medals and decorations, 1935 Star, France and Germany Star, Defense Medal, Canadian Voluntary Service Medal with clasp, and the War Medal of 1939 and 1945. So anyway, then we landed in England, and then they took us to Aldershot, was our barracks at the time, to wait for whatever our duty to do. Never knew a thing. We never knew what beaches we're going to head for, or we're going on D-Day, or what, on Juno Beach, or whatever it was. It was all a secret. Oh no, they put us on a boat, and we were just waiting on that boat all the time for the right time. And I remember going around coves and mysterious in the fog and saying, when's this going to happen, And all of a sudden, it started to go ahead. And just before dusk, we landed on the beach. We didn't land on the beach. They let us out before the beach. We had to go through the water.
What do you mean, wade through the water?
Wade through the water, because of they would see that boat so fast.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you landed on a beach called St. Andre?
St. Andre.
All right. Okay, tell me what happened when you landed on the beach and what you guys did, because it wasn't a piece of cake from what I've heard.
Well,
what happened?
Well, we tried to waded in the water, got on the beach, and we'd heard some shots. And we didn't know what was happening there, but we knew it must have been a sniper. It wouldn't be our own men. So we stayed put until it got darker, because it was pretty dark, getting dark when we got onto the beach. So they couldn't have seen too much, but they use these tracer bullets all the time, you see. So we stayed put.
Tracer bullets, you mean?
The bullet that lights.
You see a stream of light behind it or something like that?
It shows a light.
All right.
So anyway, we managed to crawl into where the rest of the divisions were.
Yeah.
I think it was the 5th Division was still in there. Or third, it could have been the 3rd, I'm not sure what division. Anyway, we got there, and one of the fellows went up and he says, me get that sniper.
Okay, so you guys were actually going after the sniper. We can backtrack a bit. Was it a group of you that went, or the guy just went by himself all the way over there, or what happened?
They wanted to patrol. I mentioned the patrol, but the thing is, this fellow wanted to go ahead. He was a Frenchman. Mm-hmm. He remembered what happened to he heard what happened to a couple of his French.
Okay, well, what exactly did this guy tell you that they did to your fellow Canadians?
Well, he tells me that they hung 2 Canadians and castrated them.
Mm-hmm.
And he never forgot that. And he said, "Well, I'll get that sniper." And he.
Well, how did he actually say it?
He says,
broken French.
"Mon enfant, Chen, me get sniper. He kill our hang on boy. Me get him.
Okay, and
it's a little more than that.
All right. So, what happened? He went after them. What did you guys do?
He went after them. We covered him from below, covering fire. He climbed up into the church, up to the turret, right where the bell is. He says, when you hear that bell ringing, you know I got him, and me fix him. And apparently he cut his hand off and threw it out the window, and he rang the bell, and we knew he's coming down okay. And that was it.
All right.
So we just took it there. That was it. I mean, there's no worrying about it whether he lives or not. He's gonna die of bleed to death anyway if he doesn't do something else. But he killed it. He got him anyway. The fillets would be the major part then after that, because we were so tired because we kept marching and marching for days, and the sun got real hot, and we started to think about when are we going to rest. So the corporal says, let's park it here. You know, the sergeant major got hit; he was gone, and we were probably just a bunch of us left. But anyway, we stopped to start to change, taking our old clothes off and just resting in the sun, and what underwear we had, we would change, you know. We were very dirty at the time, but there was a little creek there. We jumped in the creek. But you see, when we came out, I seen this plane coming, and it had no motor. It didn't seem like it had a motor. It was just gliding around and observing us. I thought, well, gee, we got some company. They're going to send planes to help us, you know. It wasn't long before that, I heard this big, I knew it was an American plane because we didn't have that kind of a plane. And he kept spraying us. Apparently it was called a Lightning bomber. And then another plane came. I don't know what they call it, a bomber, but I know it was called the Lightnings. It was two planes. Now we started running, and I seen a guy getting his head blown off, and the head rolling down and his helmet down the hill. It was on an embankment. I remember that because there was a creek down below. And something blasted me, knocked me right off my feet. I'm not sure it was a boulder or something, but there was a blast and it knocked me unconscious, and I felt my arm hurting as I went down. And all I remember was in the hospital after that, in the Belgium hospital. That was the end of my war for me.
Immediately after World War II, Donald Bashore returned to Canada and began his career as a world-class harmonica player, touring throughout England and North America.
These are tiny harmonics I made into a cufflink. And when I have them on the cuff, when I play a song, I go. And I say that was strictly off the cuff.
What else do you have there?
There's a little tie clip. I have it. These are things I made. Little tie, an old-fashioned tie pin for the harmonica.
That actually plays?
Yeah, it plays too.
Hey, fire away.
Then we'll go back to the Marine Band. This is the Marine Band when the small harmonica. That's the type of harmonica I learned to play on. This is how I scratch when we play the bagpipe.
Hey, what's that,
Huh?
Who's this, you?
That's me playing, I've got a red light on me. It's at Roy Thompson. I'm playing my musical gloves.
Okay. What's the significance of the musical gloves?
Well, I play electric, you see.
Okay, but why are you wearing white gloves? Just for effect, or?
Well, the notes are in the gloves. Each finger has a note. Each finger has a note.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, you're wearing these gloves. They've got water on the tips of those gloves.
Well, there is notes. I put notes in all the...
What do you mean by notes?
Well, there's a chromatic scale. You can play do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, do, and you can play up to the black note, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, do. But it's hard to play anything too fast because you'd be...
Well, wait a minute. What exactly are you doing with your hands? You blow... What is that, anyways?
I haven't played them for a while, but they still should work.
Hey. You're full of surprises there, Donald.
And I imitate the bagpipe on the harmonica, all kinds of things I do.
Well,
I'd have I don't know if I get that.
Okay, Don, we're coming to the end of the program. If there was one parting shot, one final word of wisdom or advice that you'd like to leave with all your viewers, what would that be?
Years ago, people thought the mouth organ just a toy. Some still do, but now it is called, with due respect, the harmonica, with its harmonic sounds. All children interested in music should try the harmonica first, then piano, like I did. This way the parent can see if the children are interested in learning music. That is my advice to the young people today, from this World War II veteran.
Donald Brashear will always be remembered for his sacrifice and excellence in the music world, yet he was still putting out albums as late as 2006 and 2007, a remarkable achievement for a man living well into his 80s. I'm Ainsley Wronski. Thanks for watching.
Still going. Well, let's see how long we can get it. Ooh, wow, they give me the whole thing.
You don't want you coming out with the full guns.
Ooh, the guy at the back gives me a favor.
Come partay this Monday. Fostock at Young Dundas Square. Headlined by Jellystone. Check out FOSstock.com and be at Young Dundas Square this Monday, noon to 11. Fostock, it's free.
Thank you very much.
We've got 3 new books. The first one was Tabitha Blair's Family Half Done, fiction based loosely on her own life as a mixed-race family. What do you make of your first book?
I'm extremely excited to finally have it out. It has been a long time, partly my fault because I've been lagging and slagging. But I'm excited for just to have it finally out and have people have a chance to read it because they've been waiting for it.
And the next book of fiction is The Road and Other Stories by Anna Wendland. Like I said, basically The Road is a big short story, and then there's a lot of little ones in there. But another book of fiction, good reading. And the third book we had on Word on the Street was a rather academic book called Immaterial Forms of Energy and Their Interactions. I'll show you. It's a book of It's handwritten, hand-drawn. It's just as we found it in this notebook of hers, except for the FOF stuff at the front. Okay, we're here with Anna Wendland. It's Word on the Street. We've covered Word on the Street as a news event before, but now we're actually here. And Anna's written 2 books for us. She's actually picking them up here at Word on the Street. So, okay, Anna, I actually caught you reading one of your books. What do you make of the whole thing?
I like it. It's exciting, but I'm also pretty shy. A pretty private writer, so a little bit weary of that.
In what way?
Like, I don't want people to read it.
Okay, just as
I just want to sit on it, and like, when I'm dead, people can read it.
But those are the 3 books we released at the Word on the Street. We have a couple more books. This is my own book, Protest. It's basically the news stories and photos of protests. It's like archival material. I base a lot of the philosophy at FOF and IIJ based on people's right to express themselves and in many cases protest when they don't think things are going the right way. And this is the book that started it all. You know, Dave Getzel's book of music. Literally a book of music. You can see there's notes and all the rest of it. And of course our magazines or our newspapers, The Fortress, were there. You've seen The Fortress before.
Yeah. And I'm host for the set. Party started, right? They call me Frenzy. Yeah.
Listen up, money people, get on down, feel the bass. Shaking up the ground, fathers, players, and hustlers alike. Get your ass on, booty floor tonight. I see some fine ladies on the dance floor, popping that booty in those Louis Vuittons. The Gucci and Prada, the ice on your arm. You look real good, girl, where you from? Ain't no doubt about this crowd is hype. I'm usually in the hotel, I didn't match. Ladies, I learn you trust it, and treat me right when you go on my tour bus in the back, burning weed with my homeboy Steve. This is how the light heart crew run things, and I'm getting my way, but if you wanna try, so you're alive, at the time of your life, can you feel me? Feel the music! Feel the music! Yo, feel the music, man, come on! Everybody, feel the music.
The Fortress experiment gives people a chance to be all they can be, and Shane Murphy got his chance by meeting our experiment controls as I knew Emily Smith personally, and Shane was living with Emily at the time. Shane was a hip-hop musician and like many ran afoul of the law, and his prospects looked grim. The Fortress experiment would try to wipe the slate clean and see if a second chance to be all he could be would improve his life. And here is his story. Okay, we're here with Shane Murphy. He's been with our organization Fortress of Freedom for about 3 years now. And in 2005, we started producing your first album called Real Life. And if you'd like, tell me a couple of the experiences you had recording this music and how you felt when it was produced and finally in your hands.
I learned a lot, though. That's the big...
Why? What did you think it was going to be?
Well, I thought for sure I was going to be able to go back and hear my songs and make sure that every one of them was the way I wanted it to be. Most musicians, they will constantly pick things apart. I'm not all that picky, but on the same hand, I believe it could have been done just a little bit better with a little more time and patience on both me and the producer's part. I think we could have done things a little more professionally, but with all the things going on, at that time emotionally for both of us, neither one of us really into the music. But coming through it, realizing that, this is part of growing as an artist and realizing that not every artist, the first time they come out is gonna and have a triple platinum record. I mean, I had all these ideas about what music is going to be, and realistically, that's not what it is at all. And it's even more reason to stay with Fortress now, because it's like a longevity thing. I think, you know, if you're going to... Everybody has the dream of becoming a big rock star, you know, but reality and 1 in a million make it, man. And, you know, it's just fulfilling to know that, like, I had a childhood dream of having a record and Sam the Record Man.
Oh, yeah. We are going to Sam the Record Man to check out the progress in the CD sales for this wannabe rapper guy.
And when that
that did happen.
And when that happened, it was great. It was a great feeling.
I'd like to let you know that I'm so excited. This is like my dream come true.
But there's a good song on that album, I think. I think there's a lot of good heart into the record, and that's what's fulfilling to me.
For the people. Isn't he hot? All right, well, that's a good one. That's one down. We got 10 more to go. Cut.
It's definitely Jesus, I'll tell you that. It's like Hell's Gates right here, man.
Now, how long did you stay here?
I stay in this one, I stayed in that one.
Well, how long did you stay in that one?
Those assholes won't let us on the property. So,
Yeah.
so fuck it. I stayed in there. 14 months I stayed in there. With 3 men.
Yeah.
In 1 cell.
Yeah, but what was the charge?
Well, I got in some trouble back in my younger days, doing stupid things, and basically ended up getting charged with some forcible confinement, weapons dangerous, assault with a weapon, dangerous operation, motor vehicle.
Ooh, that's a bad one.
Oh yeah, real bad. You know, all these Trump charges they throw on your ass just to make you fucking plead to something you didn't do. There's things that I did do and things I didn't do, but that's between me and God, you know? But, yeah, the place brings back a lot of memories, just looking at it, you know? Because of the fact that I was in group homes and you know, I used to get a lot of unwanted attention, and I wouldn't go around causing that attention for myself. It was just a simple fact that I was a group home kid. It was outcasted, you know? And, you know, you get fed up with feeling like a bag of shit every day of your life, and eventually you start lashing out in anger, and, you know, and I guess that's what started happening. You know, I was in the group home system, and how they dealt with things, you start lashing out at people, they send you to good old Corrections Canada, you know?
Okay, Real Life. I know you wrote that one in here.
Yeah.
Was it just written in here? They didn't have any equipment or anything, or?
Yeah, it was just written in my head. I wrote it, wrote the lyrics, and I sang it to myself. Just wrote it from my heart when I was sitting in my cell one day.
Yeah, but what made you do that in jail?
I don't know, just the inspiration. I had time to sit back and think and be able to look at my life.
So what's it like being outside looking in now?
It's emotional. It's emotional. I've done a lot of time in my life. You know, since I was 12 years old, I probably spent, you know, a total of 8 years inside. In and out. Prison system, we call it the revolving door. You know, but it's
why do they call it the revolving door?
It's like a vicious cycle. You know, once you get stuck in the system, I guess it all depends on your background too. I think there's a lot of, you know, if your family's, you know, you come from a good background, you have a better chance, I think, in life. And I think there's a lot of guys like myself and other guys like me that didn't come from a good background. And I think that I'm not blaming my whole life on that, but I'm saying that, you know, it's an explanation as to why, you know, certain types of people may end up feeling what is, oddly enough, considered very comfortable in prison. You know, very comfortable. Like, you just get used to having your 3 squares a day, and you know, when you're living out in the streets and you ain't got shit, you know, what it really comes down to, I think, is that, you know, you get used to having your 3 squares a day. You get used to, you know, bringing in your dope any way you got to bring it in, smoking it, you know, having fun, hanging out with you. Half your buddies are in fucking jail anyway. You're all dope dealers on the street trying to survive, to get a hotel or something, and just to sleep warm at night in the winter. I mean, you know, there's been some tough times, and I think I found sort of like a family away from a family, you know, inside, you know. So there's a couple of people that I really care about that are in jail, you know what I mean? And I understand their life and everything, but that's what the revolving door is all about. It's just, you get hooked. It's like fucking crack, man. And it's sick, but I mean, it's like a sick sensation. call it sadomasochistic, whatever you want to call it. It's pretty fucked up. You know?
Okay, we're with Shane in front of Provincial Courthouse where he had some business a short time ago. He's just going to give us an update on what happened and what it was all about.
Yeah, about 8 months ago, I was notified that I had turned myself into a 41 Division because of some domestic-related incident. I did so, got bail, and 8 months later, here I am. And of course, during the process of everything being dealt with, this is the beautiful place that I had to come to. Yeah, well, the lowdown on this place.
Tell him about that shirt and all the rest of that.
Oh, the shirt. Oh, hey, if you take a close look, I'm sure if you zoom right in there, you might be able to see some people waving hi or whatever. But if you take a close look in there, you'll see that there's an orange type of shading, kind of hanging from the top of the metal, whatever the hell, the bars and the windows there. Inside, what the inmates do is that they have these bright fluorescent lights, and a lot of times what these coppers will do is they'll fuck around and they'll turn the lights on and keep them on all day and bother the inmates that way and drive their heads completely insane, right? So what the inmates do, we get wise to the game. We take the orange shirt off, the jail issue shirt we get, and we throw it up over the light. You know, sometimes you'll get a misconduct for it, sometimes you won't, but fuck, this place is a shithole.
That's why people try to avoid going there.
Yeah, well, I'm starting to realize it more and more.
Yeah, wonderful. Here, hop in.
How you doing, man?
Prison life.
No, prison life is not so bad because you have things to do. It's the whole idea of sitting in a detention center that sucks.
By the way, since we have you here, let me just get this out of the way. But are you better off at the West Detention?
What do you mean? than free?
No, than in a real jail. I mean,
no.
You're there with regular Joes who are just buying time, aren't you?
No. You're on the you're not even classified. This thing called classifications you have to go through.
Yeah.
And when you're sentenced inmate, you get classified to an institution that's appropriate for the crime you committed. Mine was pretty minor, so I mean, as a matter of fact, I think the police were going to release me if I had to shut my mouth. I think.
Yeah, that's it. Your mouth got you in trouble there. Yeah.
I probably would have got released the next day on a drunken in public or something like that. The cops even told me that they would have probably released me had I shut my mouth, because they even said that if you took this to trial, you would have beat it. Because it was like, I got arrested basically yelling at a wall, drunk.
That's terrible, eh? Shane Murphy, care of the Metro West Detention Center. Ooh, that's the
It'll be worth money someday. Okay, so Shane Murphy's looking pretty Czechoslovakian in that photo. That's what it looks
Russian
like.
mafia style. Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, what's they put a little what's that red thing over the Shane Anthony Murphy business?
Records Department, June 20th. It's the release. It's a letter of release.
Oh, okay.
It's just to prove that you were inside, and for any government officials besides these guys who don't know you were there, and if you're ever pulled over by the police or whatever, it's a record of release that you actually were released in case they screwed up or their computers don't quite click today or whatever, So it proves you've been released and you're good to go. And
Shane Murphy, happy that he has proof that he was released from jail, just in case.
Yes.
We've all been there. Yeah. We know what it is.
There you go. Yeah, that's it, man. That's it.
Yeah, Shane Murphy's next cover.
Next
his
cover.
album.
Yeah, I bet, Morris. I bet.
Yeah, okay, show me some. What, you got your letter again?
Yeah. I'm proud of that. Something to be proud of, show Mama. Look, Mom.
Oh yeah, we've done this before. God, it even looks just like you.
Wow,
it's like the other one, right? Shane Murphy, another album cover.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think, with or without hair?
You know what, Shane? It could go. It's reality TV. It can go either way. Yeah, Shane, as you've seen, he's out of jail again. This time he spent quite a bit of time in jail.
Yeah, a grand total of 8 months.
Yeah, 8 months.
With 4-day break in between that I can't even remember because of the use of narcotics and booze. But yeah, it's good to be out. Brush it off, you know, one step at a time. It's all good.
All right, so now that you're off, you've sworn off smoking.
Well, I'm gonna do my best not to smoke.
You've sworn off women.
I haven't sworn off women, man. What are you trying to say? Like, I'm out and I'm gay all of a sudden?
Well, for the time being, and I think he wants to get a coffee now.
I want to focus mostly on Fortress, my daughter Cora, and you know, and try to one step at a time, one day at a time. Just take it easy this time.
Yeah, Shane's out of jail. All right, let me zoom in and hopefully this thing can focus on it. To whom it may concern. You know what? You're hang on. Let me really get on this. We've been looking at this for a while. You're getting older. Yeah, Shane Murphy's getting older. The photo's getting older. Everything's getting older.
Getting tired.
Yeah.
Shave. I was gonna shave before I got out, but they didn't give me razors. So.
Yeah, you never know.
Well, yeah, this is I don't know, man.
Look, we've been through this before. What about the alcohol?
What about it?
Have you made any more statements, or it's just going to be one day at a time now? What's that?
No, I was actually 2 weeks sober. I joined NA actually with a friend of mine 2 weeks before I got into.
What's NA?
Narcotics Anonymous.
Narcotics Anonymous.
It's basically the whole general philosophy is, you know, like along with all drugs and stuff, that alcohol is a drug, period, and it's a more comfortable setting for me. I was looking forward to going back, but I was in the process of actually going to a rehab center and everything like that before I was arrested. And I was actually already in NA for about 2 weeks sober before I got arrested. So I was already on the path to go in there, and I just want to, you know, it's like a little bump in the road, and I just want to get back on my horse and move on, man. Like, it's no big deal, you know. For the first time in years, though, I think this is the first time I've been arrested sober in years that I can remember. So it's different for me this time, I think. You know, I don't have any desire. I don't really want to smoke or anything like that. I just want to stay away from all addictions if I can, because I think one thing with me leads to the next. You know. So.
There he is, the man.
There it is, man. There it is.
Yeah. We're back with Shane Murphy. He's out of jail again. Yeah. How long did you spend this time?
4.5 months.
All right. Okay. Well, let's go through it. Let's see the letter.
Yeah, this is
these letters.
The letter. Yeah, there it is. That's the release letter this time.
Yeah. This will be the greatest hits album.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no wild claims. I'm off booze. I'm off drugs. I'm off.
I ain't saying anything.
He's getting smarter now.
I'm healthy.
He's healthy.
We'll see how long it lasts.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? That's progress, and we'll see what happens. It is. I mean, because before it was always like, that's it. I'll never have another smoke again. Now he's like more realistic about it.
To be totally honest with you, the first thing I wanted to do when I got out of here today, I never thought it would happen like that, but I had a craving for a cigarette. First time in 4-something months. Straight up, but I don't really like.
Well, yeah, that was going to be the question. Are you going to smoke?
No, I'm going to have coffee, actually. I'm going to have coffee, then I'll make that decision. But it's not healthy at my age. The thing is, too, is that there's like a lot of...
Well, how old are you right now?
I'm going on 4. I'm going to be 40 this year.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. With the drinking and stuff, man, like I said, it's a one day at a time kind of process. I just have to, you know, make those decisions one day at a time. I can't take it a year at a time right now. I'm just too early in the stages of that for now. So I'm not making myself any promises I can't keep this time. And maybe by then, maybe I'll be able to stay, you know, off of those things and do the right thing.
Where are you going to go from here? Where do you see yourself in 5 and 10 years?
I'd rather just take it one day at a time, and honestly, that's where I'm at now. You know, I just want to be a good father, and you know, hopefully this Fortress, hopefully we can get ourselves a broadcasting license or something where I can end up giving myself a cozy, you know, backseat job, and you know, You know, I'd like to have a nice little bit of money every year, you know, be able to pay my child support on a regular basis and be able to, you know, do those things a responsible father would do and have a 9-to-5. And really, that's all I want out of life now. Really simple, you know. No matter how far Fortress goes or any of this stuff goes, it's all a success because we're still moving forward.
We started as a little, ideal and an experiment, and then it blew into something much bigger and something that I'm sure a lot of us never thought that would ever happen. We got on TV and radio, and Fofstock was just blew my mind. It was just unbelievable. That was just, for me, that was one of the greatest moments of my life. I kind of live for those moments, you know. I mean, life, you go through some hardships and stuff, but the bottom line is, at the end of the day, man, you got to live for those one-time moments that happen. And I jumped on a stage in front of how many thousands of people. That was unbelievable, man. It's great. It was awesome.
What does it take to put on a concert? Well, we're about to find out. We're at Toronto's Yonge Dundas Square, and the folks at Fortress of Freedom did just that. Let's have a look.
The Fortress experiment gives people a chance to be all they can be, and our big outdoor concert called Fofstock carried on with this goal. We held no auditions, and all performers met the experiment controls in the usual way by meeting one of the other participants in everyday life. And so without further delay, this is Fofstock. Yonge Dundas Square is located in downtown Toronto at one of the busiest, if not the busiest intersection in all of Canada. The square is host to concerts, special events, and protests of all kinds. Yonge Dundas Square can hold thousands of people and was patterned after New York's Times Square, with billboards, huge TV screens, neon lights with a TV station behind the stage and radio stations nearby. Yonge Dundas Square was perfect for our first concert. Well, there it is, our contract for August 1st, 2011 at Dundas Square. It's February the 10th, 2011, and I've just been down to the offices and signed the contract and gone over all the policies and everything. It's all in order, they like what they see, and now all we have to do is just put on a concert. I've got everything ready. It's mostly paperwork. This is the contract, the actual contract that we signed with Yonge Dundas Square to put on the concert. And these are the event permit fees that we're going to have to pay them. So I got a copy of that. General guidelines for using the square. This is a booklet. I won't even get into it. What we have here is a site plan for the square. Basically, that's a stage, the TTC entrance for public transit, and our tents and the vendor tent security, and this red area here is actually where the majority of the audience is going to congregate. Okay, this is the performance policy for Yonge Dundas Square. It's basically the usual politically correct stuff. What I don't see here is their policy on profanity, but they've told me left, right, center, no profanity at the square, or they have the option to shut us down. They said this is because we have several hip-hop acts and they've had problems with those guys in the past. We'll see what happens there. Got a couple of stage plots that I owe them. This one is for a band called 2600. Stage plots are basically diagrams that help the audio guys set up their mics and wires for each individual band. And this is for another one called Loco Mescalanza, Dave Getchell. And oh yeah, I have to put up the banner, and they require certificates so that I can use the scissor lift. So we're all ready for them. And we have advertising for Fofstock with two of the hippest radio stations in Toronto, which is Flow 93.5 and CFNY, which is The Edge 102.1, of course. We also have vendors, and we have to get special event applications for these vendors and documents to the Ministry of Health. Okay, last but not least is our insurance. You can't do anything without insurance, no insurance and no concert. We've got $20 million, and that should cover my rear end in case anything happens, because we've heard some horror stories in the past. Okay, I think that does it.
Hello,
everybody to FOF Stock, or if you prefer FOF Stock, in the beautiful downtown sunny Toronto on the long weekend civic holiday. We have music today, all day, free. Any genre you like, we have.
Hi, I'm Tabitha Blair.
That was Off the Hook. Everybody give it up for Tabitha! How's everybody doing?
Hey, okay, you know what?
I forgot to wear sunscreen.
Sean Kelly, come down to FOF.
Burning up.
Come down to FOF Fest and support your Canadian industry.
Give it up.
The indie music scene in Canada needs to be bigged up, so here we are, big it up. Sean Kelly, come buy one. Shane Murphy, come buy it.
I don't hyperventilate. Whatever.
And you know what? Come on down where the music's on and the pressure's off.
This is the man that taught me about my first G-string. And I'm not lying. Once with Sean Kelly, I
in
would
more
never
ways
be in a
than
chick's
one.
pants.
You wear G-strings? No.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sean Kelly.
Mystery girl, come back to me. Just where in the world could you be? 'Cause absence for the rest of my life, just to make you my wife.
Got a straight whip on the nigga Jones. Got a hip hop phone. It's how we do it. This is how we do it. When I say DJ, y'all say it's DJ.
Thank you very much. Our local Escalante, we have Fernando. We have Drew. We have Dave Mitchell. And behind the camera, we got Bill.
You need a singing chorus.
Oh, okay, we're gonna do a Dave Getchell original for you. Recorded on Fortress of Freedom. So, big business, everybody.
Big business.
let's try that one. Cause nobody ain't making no noise, so you know what? We don't do it like this, man. Put us in the building. For sure.
Make some noise, y'all. Let's go. Jelly Beast goes.
On X, baby. Big up frontline unit in the building. Hey, listen. I'm gonna tell y'all like this. Hey, I feel good, fantastic. Come up in the ghetto with the guns blasting. Hey, yo, stop that. Wheel that up. Sound man, I need the music to come up some more. Let's start this again, man. We don't even need the intro. Let's cut me in, guys. Please. Somebody say hell yeah. Say hell yeah. Say I don't care. Say I don't care. Now scream. Nice. Hey, that feel good. Fantastic. Come up in the ghetto with the guns blasting. Got me heavy metal for you punk bastard. You ain't on my level, I'm a funk classic. I'm a rebel, ain't no need to ask it. Fighting with the devil till I put my casket. Stretch out to pussy just like elastic. Round a cool 100 down, my niggas just that. Wildin' in the party like that's that. We roll up in the party and crash that shit. Rex that. That's that shit now. Every time I get a mic check, I cash that shit. Pack that sick. Hit you in your head and make it snap back quick. Tell you better move them as a crack down. Whip them like crack so cool. Nigga pass. We gon' pump and grind these streets tonight. To the daylight breaks the dawn. And I don't care about a motherfucker on the wall. Cause tonight we rock some more. And I don't care if your mama standing at the door with the strap down, the bitch come home. Said I don't care about a motherfucker day or night. I'm about to do my fucking thing.
Jelly, you got to cut your balls. Yeah.
Hey, what? What you talking about? It's quarter to 11.
Oh, they cut you. That's in the language. What can I tell you?
You tell him.
You're out.
Hey, yo, did you tell us like that?
Listen, don't say goodbye to the fans. Why do you have to cut you out?
Give me somebody who can try.
All right.
Hey, yo, they just cut me off and they said I'm too Thank you, Dave. You need to tell them to turn the mic back on.
Turn the mic back on!
Turn the mic back on! I can do. He did it, not me.
Turn the mic back on!
Hey, tell them. Hey, y'all gotta tell them what you want. You let me know what happened. Tell them what you want.
Turn the goddamn mic back on!
Fortress of freedom!
Turn it back on!
Freedom of speech!
Me, mine. I'll tell you what. Because should I take the mic first?
Take them home! Put the mic on!
Okay, here we go.
Turn it on! Turn it on!
Absolutely. That's my word as a man. Check, 1, 2.
They cannot stop the show!
Hey, listen. Okay, here what we gonna do. We gonna go quick, cause here what? They said it was too much offended. I apologize to all who were offended. Alright? But I will not change who I am or what I do.
That needs
All right, Anna. Your take on Fofstock.
I think everybody that performed did a really good job. I I actually think even through the mishaps that occurred and the fact that the mics were shut off and everything that happened at Jellystone, I think in the end it gave the performance even more character. And I think that the fact that after the mics were shut off, he sort of got the crowd going and everybody was like protesting the fact that the mics were off. I think that ended up showing how many fans he really had out there, because if the show had just ended there and people just walked away, that would just show that they didn't really care what he was saying or what he had to say on stage. But the fact that they really, it was the people that forced Yonge and Dundas Square to put the mics back on, and I think that alone shows how much what he had to say to the people really meant and really mattered to them. Otherwise they wouldn't have booed them to turn on the mics again.
With the end of Fopstock came the end of active participation in the experiment. So far, the experiment was a complete success. Updates on all participants would continue, but from now on it was all about the advocacy. The Fortress experiment gives people the chance to be all they can be, and Maurice Ali got his chance by meeting our experiment controls as the originator or subject zero of the experiment. As part of the creation of the experiment, he nevertheless became an unwitting part of the experiment as the organizations grew, and as a result, his dreams and goals in business and in advocacy started to look like they could become real. And here is his story.
Advocacy with the International Association of Independent Journalists is not so much a step-by-step process as it is more like telling a story. It was a journey, and like all journeys had a beginning, and that was during the taping of the original Fortress TV show, when I stated the objectives of the organization and my own personal goals.
In the future, what plans do you have to develop this organization?
Well, our most immediate plans is to get media accreditation with the UN. I'd also like to get NGO status with the UN. That would allow us to work in workshops and lobby on an international level. And my ultimate goal is to actually speak personally to the countries that are participating in the United Nations. That would be my ultimate goal.
That's a good goal.
Well, that's my personal goal. The ultimate goal of our organization is to expand throughout the world and to enhance and secure freedom of speech through freedom of the press and individual freedoms of speech and thought.
We got in on that concept of modern-day citizen journalism from the start, and we wanted to do advocacy on behalf of citizen journalists and bloggers, and finally have them accepted as legitimate media workers on the world stage.
Oh, we've got the credibility. We're reaching for the UN.
Okay. And after that, what's that?
Well, ultimately, I want to give a speech on the floor of the General Assembly. That's what I want to do. And I want to leave this earth, because I'm not getting any younger, knowing that I left some kind of legacy for the other people so that they can actually think without being brainwashed through the mass media, or say speak their mind without worrying whether they're going to go to jail or whether they're going to be ostracized, right? I mean, I'm not the only one.
At the beginning, the association was just a sub-forum on our website. To make it a real association, we would have to incorporate it as a not-for-profit.
That's the big document.
Now that we were an actual not-for-profit NGO, we had to figure out a way to make it to the United Nations as we planned. UNESCO, a special agency of the UN, had taken up the cause of citizen journalists killed while documenting news events in some countries. So we figured becoming members with UNESCO would be the best way to do this. In Canada, we have the Canadian Commission for UNESCO, and we applied to become institutional members there and see if that could be the entry point to advocacy for IIJ. So we applied and met a representative from the Commission, and the only thing to do now was to wait. And lo and behold, in July of 2011, we were accepted. I was driving up the driveway and I saw this big white envelope in the mailbox, and when I pulled it out, it was from the Canadian Commission for UNESCO. So there it is. A couple of years, but there we are. Being a member of the Canadian Commission for UNESCO meant that we could attend their annual general meeting in Ottawa. And it was there that we would start to push for citizen journalist rights and freedoms. Okay, it's May the 10th, 2012. I'm at the Delta City Hotel, and we're here for the annual general meeting of the Canadian Commission for UNESCO. I recall that we actually went to 350 Albert Street, called Constitution Square, and had a meeting with the special advisor to the Secretary General, about an hour and a half. And lo and behold, the room they gave me has a bird's eye view. We're right across the street from where all that happened. As a matter of fact, these guys are on the 12th floor, but zoom in on this. This is where it happened. We even have videotape of me going in there. Constitution Square. How about that for coincidence? You're trying to become members, and here I am at the convention in a hotel room, looking down at where we were just dreaming about becoming members. This is what it is. It's a reception and 2 days of meetings. Day 2 is an all-day meeting, and the third day on Saturday is a half a day, and then we take off to wherever we came from and enjoy the balance of the weekend and get ready for the new week. That's about it for now. I've got plenty of work ahead. I'm not going to let them forget about this and let it wither away and die. We are going straight forward. I want to go to Paris. I want to make sure that this thing does not slip out of my fingers. So what can I say? It's a big thing for me, and we'll just see where it takes us. So the long and short of it was the communications person at the Commission put me onto the people in the Freedom of Expression Division at UNESCO headquarters in Paris, France. And in the end, we produced an extensive report on citizen journalism and got an invite to the first World Summit of the Information Society Review meetings, also called WASIS Plus 10. That would update things from the original World Summit of the Information Society and would end with the adoption of the recommendations sometime in late 2015 at UN headquarters in New York. Our session on citizen journalism at the first review meeting was on February the 27th, 2013, so we arrived on the first day of the review in Paris on February 25th for the opening ceremonies. Okay, that's Paris. You can see there's snow everywhere. Unfriggin' real. We were at the first conference, or conference room run, which is a big one that, if you know anything about UNESCO, you're familiar with. It's the one where they have all the major international votes, like the vote to allow Palestine membership. So that was kind of an experience to be there in a rather famous place.
Okay, our first speaker today is Maurice Allen, who is the founder of the International Association of Independent Journalists, which is a registered not-for-profit journalist association with offices in Toronto and London. The association caters to amateur and professional journalists with advocacy and support services. And I'll stop there and hand over to Maurice.
First of all, thank you for everybody for showing up and the organizers. Now, I'll just quickly go through a few recommendations. Very quickly. Yeah. One, it is recommended that the concept of citizen journalists continue to be formalized and institutionalized in the same way as traditional journalism. Two, that citizen journalists be afforded the same rights of access as those in traditional media. Three, some measure of protection should be given to citizen journalists at news events. Four, some form of collaboration between citizen journalists and traditional news reporting media should be encouraged. And finally, with 96% of citizen journalists in our studies relying on the internet for dissemination of their information, it is recommended that all affected stakeholders continue to monitor and lobby relevant organizations to keep the internet free of censorship and other barriers to information and of acquisition and or dissemination. That's it.
Great. Thank you very much. Yep. Right. In a slight, thank you very much, Maurice. In a slight change.
What did I make of the session? Well, The speech didn't go without incident. There were a couple of issues. One being that I was speaking so fast that the French interpreter actually came down to tell me to slow down so that she could properly interpret what I was saying to the French people in the audience. After all the opening speeches, there was a question and answer segment where IIJ actually got to shine. We have produced our own newspapers, magazines. We've put documentaries on mainstream TV nationwide for less than it cost us to do our little newsletter, like $1,000 coast to coast in Canada after Saturday Night Live, or daytime programming, which is about 10% of a person's annual salary that can be combined with other people if need be. Citizen journalists are not necessarily wedded to the internet, and you're going to see them branch out into more and more areas traditionally inhabited by professional journalism. Sorry.
Thank you. Maurice, you had an interesting question there about questions of institutionalization, human rights, and so forth.
Yeah, with regards to the first question, by formalizing and institutionalizing the term citizen journalist, what I mean. So we had our first score at the UN level, with journalists' rights actually making it to the session's final statement. The review meetings would continue and then move on to the UN in New York in 2015, and IIJ wanted to be there to be a part of it. But to do that, we would have to apply for consultative status at the UN, which meant extensive vetting by member states. We jumped through all the application hoops and finally got an invite to the UN in January of 2015, where our application for consultative status would be heard. Okay, we're here in New York, the Big Apple. This is the room I'm in. I just arrived. First day, what can I say? First day was basically what you expect. You're very excited. I mean, it's the UN. Well, I'm here for what it's worth. We've made it into the UN. We're actually at the UN buildings, and we'll just go and see what happens from here. Things progressed as normal, and I was kind of wondering when they would get to us, and sure enough, our name came up. All right, okay, so yeah, Cuba and the Islamic Republic of Iran had problems with their little journalist org, so that put it on delay, and the only way that I could possibly get consultative status with the UN was to answer those questions at their Q&A session at 5 o'clock, and unbelievably, my name came up at 5:30. I was on the corner with a little sign that says NGO. And as I recall, I had this long walk because I was up in the rafters, and when you sit down there, it's unnerving because you're with the Secretariat and the Chairman, and then all these delegates of nationalities are right there on the same level, and they're all staring at you, and so I croaked it out. Greetings, Mr. Chairman and members of the High Table, distinguished delegates, and my fellow NGOs. It is also a support group, and we will try to help each other out to become better journalists and to support the democratic right to tell the news to our fellow citizens as we see it. I'll now be happy to answer any questions you have about our organization. The strange part was Cuba and Iran didn't have anything to say. It was the others, and it started off with, I think, Venezuela, who wanted to know what I was doing in their country, which wasn't much. Then Russia came in, and he was asking questions about our press ID cards and where the money was coming from, since I seem to run all these corporations. Then it was Pakistan, who wanted to know what was going on. Did we have an office in their place? And who else? Nicaragua. They also wanted to know what was, well, they wanted a written reply. It means there's no way they can ask to get consultative status in there. You've got to reply after the fact that it's delayed to probably the next session 6 months later. So I'll have to check. I think that's it. But no, it was just one after another. It was brutal. And another guy that was on the list but didn't get up there, he told me it was brutal. I got roasted. So there's not much more I can do, but just answer their questions and wait. And they're probably going to drag it out too. These places, they saw what happened in Egypt. They don't want citizen journalism. They don't want guys like me hanging around there. And that's the bottom line. So if you're going to go out, you're going to go, you may as well go out swinging, and you may as well go out in flames. So that's what happened. And
That's it. I'm not going to show up there tomorrow. I'll go there to eat at their cafeteria since they have a fabulous cafeteria at the UN, but that's it. I've had enough of that. I'm done for the time being. We may get it later on, but whatever. I don't care anymore. This is brutal. It was not looking good for acceptance anytime soon, and we would have to apply as outsiders if we were to have any say at the UN before final adoption of the recommendations. So we applied to speak at one of the informal stakeholder General Assembly events in July. This was a competition of sorts to get to speak, but we got lucky and got an invitation to speak to member nations at the afternoon session on July 2nd, 2015.
We got an invite to the event, which was July the 1st. And yeah, we went there. The only thing I had to note prior to that is that my mom was taken to the emergency actually by me, her and my father. The Sunday before, she was having pains in her back and moving around, and they found out there was a slight tear in one of her aortas, but it looked like it could be treated medically without surgery. So things were looking okay. So she says, go to the World Summit meeting in New York.
I call to order the informal interactive stakeholder consultation on the review of the implementation of the outcomes of the World Summit on the Information Society. I would like to warmly welcome to these informal consultations all representatives, especially those representing the relevant stakeholders. This informal interactive consultation, held in accordance with Resolution 68/302 of 31st July 2014, provides all relevant stakeholders of the World Summit on the Information Society an opportunity to contribute their views to the preparatory process for the review of the implementation of the World Summit on the Information Society outcomes in a day of interactive panel discussions with member states and representatives from various multi-stakeholder groups.
It was held in the ECOSOC chambers. Anyways, unbeknownst to me, I had a chair set up, actually third from the front on the right-hand side if you're looking down from the gallery. So I had two people beside me, and then it was me. I didn't know it at the time, so I just hung out a little bit farther back in the stakeholder area. I was last on the list, and sure enough, I was last to be called up. I ran down my speech. As far as I know, everything went well.
Our next speaker now is Mr. Maurice Ali, International Association of Independent Journalists. The floor is yours. Please be succinct. Thank you.
First of all, I'd like to thank the President of the UN General Assembly and the other co-facilitators for this opportunity. Distinguished representatives of member states, stakeholder panelists, and stakeholder respondents, and everyone else in attendance today. Greetings to everyone. My name is Maurice Ali, and I'm the president of a citizen journalist association called the International Association of Independent Journalists. Much of WASIS is about acquisition and dissemination of information in this technological age. And citizen journalists embrace that concept more than many other groups. Their ability to have ready access to information pertinent to their reporting, along with the mechanisms to disseminate information to the public, could well be one way of evaluating the ultimate impact of WASIS. Our attendance here today is a reminder of the very real impact good policymaking can have in enriching all our lives for the better. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, sir, for your intervention.
The informal interactive stakeholder consultation on the review of implementation of the outcomes of the World Summit on the Information Society is now concluded. The meeting is adjourned.
But at any rate, okay, finished my speech. I heard some grumblings that Mom may not be doing as well as possible whenever I connected the Wi-Fi, but I turned on the radios and wanted to find out what's going on, and Mom was taking a turn for the worse, so I basically hailed a cab right there at the UN, at the front of the UN, and told the guy to, drive over to my hotel. And I grabbed my bag, which was ready to go. I then wanted him to take me to the LaGuardia as fast as possible.
Okay, Mom's in really bad shape. We're racing down there. I just hope I make it in time.
I just flew all the way downtown, letting my sister know as I got on to the next street, the next part of the journey down to the hospital. And I made it. The idea was to ditch the car on the sidewalk in front of the hospital and just run up to the CICU ward. But there was a police officer rolling slowly down the road there in front of the hospital, so I had to park it in the underground parking lot and then run up the car ramps because I didn't want to get lost as I always did, or lose my bearings like I always did when I didn't go up the car ramp. She's in this ward with a whole bunch of family gathered around her in chairs, and I got to meet her while she was still conscious, alert, and awake, and I told her I loved her, and then we had a private conversation about what to do with the family and all that when she's gone, and then, I showed her some photos and stuff of my trip to New York. When all that was said and done, I had to take some family members home, so I had my last look at her and then walked behind some curtains, and that was the last I ever saw of her. A whole lot of things have to be done. It's not fun. It adds a layer of complexity I didn't have before, so doing everything gets a bit harder. But the heavy lifting has been done, and that's about it. Yeah, that's about it.
Because we had spoken at the first review meeting in Paris and at the UN in New York this past summer, we were invited to the UN adoption ceremony on the floor of the General Assembly Hall in December of 2015. After 2.5 years, citizen journalists and bloggers were to be finally recognized as legitimate media workers with all the protections of traditional journalists.
Just going to recap what happened so far at the WASIS Plus 10 meeting in the General Assembly Hall at the UN, where they're going to adopt the agreed document. So at the end of this story, citizen journalists and bloggers were finally recognized as legitimate media workers at the UN by majority vote on December 16th, 2015. IAIJ held an important part in this process from the first review meeting in Paris, France, to its ultimate adoption on the floor of the General Assembly Hall in New York. But for me personally, I found this whole experience to be a wonderful thing, an empowering thing, to be involved in international policy making and attaining goals that, quite frankly, I thought never would be attained, was one of the happiest moments in my life. I mean, I kept reaching goals. I started running out of goals. I had to keep moving the bar forward and forward as I reached and reached further than I ever thought possible. So for those of you who think that the world is out of control and that you are powerless to do anything about it, well, I'm living proof that you can.
However, it does not end there. In the summer of 2016, IAIJ finally got consultative status with the United Nations. This would allow IAIJ to attend closed events like the 55th session of the Commission for Social Development at the UN, and would also allow them to hold a side event there. IAIJ applied and was approved for a side event at the 55th session of the Commission for Social Development on February the 7th, 2017. The association would present a cell phone application that would allow anyone in the world to vote on UN issues of interest to all as a popular vote, but they would also present the Fortress experiment as a possible positive major mandate for humanity at the United Nations.
The purpose of the side event right now is to get this idea of a global vote at the UN. We thought it up as a cell phone and PC and tablet app. And basically they could watch, they could participate through the organization, which we offered as our own, as a test mule. Ultimately, this could even be expanded, and who knows where it would lead, but it would usher in a new type of global governance.
My name is Morris Alley, and I am the president of a citizen journalist association called the International Association of Independent Journalists. And I'm here to represent the general public and summarize a report we produced in May of 2016 called The Issue of Permanent Ongoing Participation of the General Public at the United Nations. And now that practical logistics to such participation are no longer a barrier, we ask that such participation be granted as soon as possible. Okay, now I've got an extra for you. I have been requested by the membership to also issue a short request on behalf of the general public again with regards to a positive major mandate for humanity at the United Nations, and here it is, and I promise it will be very, very short. This abstract I'm reading is from a report titled A Positive Major Mandate for Humanity at the United Nations, and it was written by IAIJ, which is the acronym for our journalist organization, and published on January 31st, 2017. Copies which can be downloaded from IAIJ.org. Okay, the United Nations needs a positive mandate in addition to its current mandates of eliminating war and peacekeeping and hunger and many of the other troubles that face mankind. But our mandate is this, that all of mankind can express themselves to the limit of their mental and physical abilities. That's our positive mandate. Our version of this positive mandate is simply that it be the fullest expression of mankind's physical and mental abilities. The reason we want this type of mandate is because it not only makes rational sense by allowing all forms of ideas and solutions to problems to be used and advancing our culture, but also because it makes us happy. And our own 13-year experiment called the Fortress Experiment, which, by the way, is now a series of television programming, proves this without question, as all participants were happy when given the chance to freely express themselves, while at the same time involving no negative changes to themselves, their families, their communities, and nations. A positive mandate cannot just be a rational exercise in bringing the mandate into being. It must also be a visceral affirmation. In short, it should feel right to everyone involved, and this does. So I think we just made history there. It's not the way I thought it would be, but I have never seen anyone come to the UN requesting that the general public be able to participate in an ongoing, permanent way in all UN activities with a turnkey solution that provides that participation and with charter support of the United Nations. I've never seen it happen. Technology has made this available, and somebody has to make the plea, make the demand. If you don't ask for a right, nobody is obligated to give you that right. Somebody has to ask it. And I'd like to think that I am the first with these entitlements to ask and start this going. And it is my hope that years from now, everybody in the world will be able to participate in a permanent, ongoing fashion at the United Nations if they wish. And I think that's going to be the greatest thing for humanity and humanity's self-determination. Okay, that concludes the formal presentation of this side event. Anybody have any questions?
Thanks. I'm Richard Jordan. I've represented a number of NGOs and many processes here at the United Nations for, as I say, over 36 years. There are just a couple of points. The term equal rights of men and women was put into the charter by Minerva Bernardino of the Dominican Republic. I knew Minerva very well. And she was, I think, the only woman who actually signed the charter. But that's a very good phrase to keep hammering on.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Then I suggest we break into smaller groups and give our cell phone application a shot at the table at the front. This side event is now closed. Actually got to hit a gavel. I always wanted to do that. So at the end of this journey, we were able to get citizen journalists and bloggers recognized as legitimate media workers at the UN with the same rights and protections as traditional journalists. For me personally, I was able to speak to member nations at the UN on 2 separate occasions about citizen journalist rights and freedoms, and I actually did get that ultimate goal of giving a speech on the floor of the General Assembly, as my WASA speech at the UN was General Assembly, and the moderator even told me I had the floor before I gave my speech. And wrapping up the whole adventure was our side event where I introduced our UN cell phone voting app and the results of the Fortress experiment as a possible positive major mandate for humanity at the United Nations. It's just strange where life will take you if you actually allow yourself to pursue your dreams and goals. So in the end, nobody became a rock star or a Pulitzer Prize winner. But on the other hand, nobody lost their job, got divorced, or suffered any type of mental illness. In fact, if anything comes from the conclusions of this experiment, it is that individuals have abilities that can compete with professional abilities at the highest levels. So all should be given a chance to express themselves in any venue or any medium, and that you risk very little by doing so. So in conclusion, what would happen if you were able to revisit the dreams and goals you gave up in the past? Well, the Fortress experiment says, go ahead, be happier, and don't hold back out of fear. And in the end, I can't think of a better ending than that.